Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you was watching today, but she was found guilty. And I believe for all charges. I was trying to catch it, but I missed that part. All right, so we're going to be doing the recap today of day 3 of the trial. So I'm going to show a couple of clips that happened in day 3 today. And what you do is you share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, and also make sure you hit the like. And if you need to reach out to me for anything, feel free to email me. You will find it in the description. If you need coaching in dating, love, relationship, toxic relationship advice on, email me. Or if you have a viewer's request, feel free to email me. Or you just need to talk to me about something on the side privately, no problem, email me. I'm always here for you, because a lot of people do email me and I don't have a problem. Everything's confidential. All right, so we're going to get into this one. Now, this clip that we're going to be showing right here is Taylor Schabusiness took bizarre selfie with photos of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. Insane. Now, you see the picture here. She grinning. This is crazy. But, what I want people to do is, who's watching the replay and that's here, share your thoughts. How do you feel about the judge? Because there was a lot of things today that, defense was trying to, didn't want done or whatever. But the judge, it seemed like everything was just all prosecution. He didn't give him nothing. And I thought some points he might have had a point. Maybe not so much as the point of being, the trial being done. I don't know, whatever. But just share your thoughts. Just let me know. I'd like to know what people think about it. Because something about with that judge, it just seemed like he just wanted to be over and done with and get this over with and go on to the next one. I don't know what's going on, but I guess it is what it is. And every state has different rules. They do things differently. And I was hoping that they was going to have today, like they did with Letitia Starks, that the jury can have questions. But I guess maybe in this state they don't have it. I don't know. So anybody who knows, feel free to share it in the comment section and let me know. I'm always here for feedback. I would love it, love it, love it. All right, so let's get into this first video. Like I said, Taylor Schabusiness took bizarre selfie with photo of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. Let's get it.
Can you explain the two different searches that you did on the phone and then on the Google warrant?
Sure. The first search I did of the phone, the cell phone device itself, was done on March 2nd. And that was just the contents of the phone. And then in discussing it with computer forensic analyst Donowski, she suggested that an additional warrant could be done for further information regarding the email addresses, the Gmail addresses that were connected to the phone. And that would have been a whole separate warrant and a separate search.
And when you were reviewing the phone itself, the extraction of the phone itself on March 2nd of 2022, did you note any searches related to Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
Was there one? Was there more than one? How many?
24 total searches, such things like Jeffrey Dahmer, Jeff Boyardee, Jeffrey Dahmer's butt, Jeffrey Dahmer walking into court all sexy.
And did you subsequently look for that same type of information when you reviewed the warrant return from Google?
Yes.
And did you find essentially corroborating or similar information when you reviewed the Google search warrant data?
Yes, they were similar.
And Your Honor, is Exhibit 99 available?
Yeah, I agree with you, Melanie. And I don't work in the court buildings, nothing like that. I'm not a lawyer or anything. And I go by what I see here, and I go by common sense, okay? And I read a lot. And it was just like with the judge, wow, it don't seem like he was neutral at all. I don't know, maybe because this was the case or whatever. It was just weird. And I could understand certain points that that defense was bringing up, especially with dates and time, if I'm correct. He just wanted more clarity and say this, and then plus, I don't know how it goes, but if his only, his only witness he has was not there, isn't that important? I mean, the prosecution had a bunch of witnesses. Why he can't have his witness? But, you know, they said the witness was sick. Could you find a way that maybe, I don't know, could they zoom in the witness? Everybody's doing Zoom now. Could that be done? But I don't know. Every state is different. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. But let's get into these clips. Now let me see what Deb says. The one thing I like about this judge is he kept everyone on point, and his time management as far as breaks and lunch. Yeah, I say that too. Because with that low life, you know, the one who killed his for child support, that judge, he wasn't on time. But I will say he was, you know, neutral. He listened out there. I don't know. Interesting. But let's get into the clip. She's found guilty. And I already knew she was going to be guilty. We kind of knew that one. And they go, Crystal, blessings to you, girl. You know, we knew she's going to be guilty. But we're going to see what's going to happen in the next one. Because when the judge was saying, you know, you can't say meth does damage and you don't have a doctor, whatever. Which he has a point. But I'm like, well, defense, you didn't go and get a doctor to find this out, you know, that's important. But we'll see what happens. I personally think after so far watching this, I personally feel she's still insane. I have not changed my mind on that one. I'm more convinced, but I personally think that the jury is going to say she's not insane. She's not. And Melanie, you brought up something that was a good thing to make me think about, and I wasn't even thinking that way. You know, people like that need to be in a certain place that's dealing with them, and they need certain treatment. They shouldn't be in a cell with other people. You know, these are just criminals. She's mentally insane. So you have to put people where they belong. And a lot of people might get it mixed up. They thinking, oh, she's going to go into a nut house and she's going to act like she's okay and then she's going to get out. No. She's never going to get out. She's just going to be in a place that are trained to take care of people like that and medicate them. Very interesting, very interesting. Oh, it's that I heard she cut the foot and put it through his chest, and yeah, she just butchered up. I can't even catch what she did. She just butchered up this body. And you're gonna tell me that's not insane? But there was something that was said, that there was certain parts that was missing. I had the strange feeling she might have ate some of his body parts. I don't know. I had to go back to day 2 one more time. But if anybody who's here or watching replay, let me know. Do you think with some of the parts they said that was missing, that she might have ate it? Because where is it? Oh, Lord. And you going to tell me she's not insane? All right. Melly said to Crystal that was never presented in trial. So I would say it's just rumor. Yeah, it's probably just a rumor. All right, let's get back to the clips. I'm not going to hold y'all here all night. Resume and make sure you hit that like. She was found guilty.
Well, and Ms. Luberta, what is Exhibit 99?
This is a Celebrate extraction report from the Google warrant return.
And what is contained in that exhibit?
Searched items.
And I would draw your attention specifically to items.
You think that you could pass the test?
Through 30.
I apologize. You know how we do the recaps. We do it on a faster speed. And I didn't put it on a faster speed. We're not going to be here all night. Okay, we just doing recaps. 1.25, ladies and gentlemen. If it's too fast for you, hit your setting, slow it down, or speed it up. Whatever's your liking, whatever's comfortable for you. Just hit that settings. All right, now let's resume.
35 on that. Are they numbered? Is that correct?
Yes.
And items 10 through 35, generally what is contained within those numbered items?
The searches that I had referenced earlier, Jeffrey Dahmer, Jeff Boyardee, Jeffrey Dahmer's butt, Jeffrey Dahmer walking into court, Jeffrey Dahmer walking in all sexy in court.
And is that an extraction report consistent with reports you've generated in the past or that you've seen generated in the past using this Cellbrite software?
Yes.
Your Honor, then I would move for the admission of Exhibit 99.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, there were objections,
Yeah.
those were noted, and I'm
Yes.
going to receive 99.
Yes, there were objections, but the court already ruled on that.
Then, Ms. Luberta, did you also, on March 2nd of 2022, when you were looking at the device extraction, did you do a search of photos on the defendant's phone?
I did a search of the device screenshots.
And what are the device screenshots?
So the device screenshots are screenshots taken by Analyst Danelski of the photos contained in the Google Drive of the device.
And are those photos that she manually took herself based on the photos that were on the Google Drive of the phone?
Yes.
And did you review those screenshots?
Yes, I did.
And did you likewise see any photographs of Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
Was there one, more than one?
Yes, there was more than one, approximately 10, 12, maybe more.
And did those have a date associated with them?
Yes, they did.
What were those dates or date?
The date that I remember is February 12th, 2022.
And are those consistent with the dates of the searches that are referenced earlier in the Exhibit 99?
Yes.
Is Exhibit 102 available for the witness? Ms. Luberta, what is Exhibit 102?
This is a Celebrate extraction report of the screenshots taken by forensic analyst Danelski.
So this is a report from the device itself, is that correct?
Correct.
And does 102 depict the photographs of Dahmer that we had just discussed?
Yes.
Does it also contain photographs of Ms. Schabusiness?
Yes.
What is she doing in the photographs that are depicted in that report?
She's got a cell phone next to her head. There's a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer on the screen of the cell phone, and she's taking a selfie with it and smiling like they're taking a selfie together.
And what is the date of that photograph?
That was February 12th, 2022.
And is Exhibit 101 available for the witness? Ms. Luberta, what is depicted in Exhibit 101?
The photograph I just described.
Your Honor, I would move for admission of 101 and 102, and I would ask for permission to publish 101.
Same objections as before, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to receive 101, 102, and you can publish to the jury.
Your Honor, I think one of the jurors has his hand raised. Then, Ms. Luberta, is the screen now depicting Exhibit 101?
Yes.
And that's the photograph from Ms. Business's Google Photos from February 12th of 2022.
Correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions of the witness.
I love this question. Let me show you.
Ms. Liberta, you had talked to Taylor Schabusiness, correct?
Thank you. I have no further questions of the witness.
Okay, cross-examination, Mr. Fraley.
Ms. Liberta, you had talked to Taylor Schabusiness, correct? Did you talk to her?
No.
You found out that Detective Groff had spoken to her, correct?
Correct.
And did you find out that Ms. Schabusiness said that she was only able to
I'm
utilize
going to
her?
object, Your Honor. He's asking for hearsay information. He's not allowed to admit statements of the defendant through a witness. Only the state can elicit those things. And this witness also did not speak with Ms. Schabusiness herself.
I'll withdraw that, Your Honor.
Okay, questions withdrawn.
Did you find that a large portion of the data from this cell phone from Ms. Schabusiness was stored on the cloud?
No.
Did you put that in your report?
I don't recall.
This picture, when you were working as a police officer, you would see various images and photos on all kinds of people's phones, correct?
Correct.
people search and look at odd, bizarre things, correct?
Correct.
And based on your training and experience, people look at things for shock value sometimes. Is that fair?
I don't know if I can answer that question. Maybe.
This photograph in Exhibit 102 is basically a close-up picture of Ms. Schabusiness with a phone right by her, correct?
Correct.
You don't see any knives, you don't see any weapons, you don't see anything, correct?
Well, you see a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer on the phone.
But besides that, you don't see anything else, correct?
Correct.
And can you say that this photo was actually taken on Saturday, February 12th of 2022?
Yes.
These, did you see those other photographs of Jeffrey Dahmer and the other exhibits?
Yes.
Do you know when those photos were either downloaded or sent to the cloud?
I do not.
Okay, I have nothing further.
Redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You can step down. State's next witness?
Judge, the next witness would be a statutory crime victim, just for the media.
Okay, I just indicate to the media, and they're acknowledging that the victim will not be shown on live stream.
Can you explain?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listen to the music while we wait. We're going to go into the next clip. What we got for you? Wait a minute. Okay. This clip here we have. What clip is this that we have here? This clip here says, she liked it. Taylor Schabusiness cuddled with headless victim. Use sex toys after. Oh, Lord have mercy. You gonna tell me she's not insane? This is sick. But there's so many Taylors out here walking around, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of them. All right, let's get to this next clip, ladies and gentlemen. And speed 1.25.
Return to the interview and specific conversations about what Ms. Schabusiness told you on February 23rd of 2022. First of all, can you start by describing what her general demeanor was when you met with her on the 23rd?
Well, characteristic as a calm demeanor, no outbursts, no mood swings. She was quite frank and being able to answer questions and ask questions.
What was your ability to communicate with her?
Very good. She was able to answer my questions and with no issues.
You indicated that you had previous work as a narcotics investigator. Have you had an opportunity in the past to meet with and interview suspects who are under the influence of drugs?
Yes.
Did you note anything in Ms. Schabusiness's behavior, demeanor, or appearance that would have suggested that she was under the influence of narcotics at the time you were meeting with her on the 23rd?
I did not.
Can you describe, going into that interview, how much information you had about the specific acts themselves?
At a particular time.
Great point, Melanie says. I'm going to be honest, if they pull up my Google search, they will see I look up Dahmer, BTK, and more. I wouldn't have pictures of myself with them, but I have Googled them. Yeah. And I write. I'm a writer. And I Google so many things. I look up so much stuff. Can't really judge me by the stuff that I look at. I'm just searching, research, or something. I might see a movie and then something was said, and I'm like, this is weird. Let me look up. Do these people like that? And I'm looking up and not saying me personally interested of doing it or participating, but I'm just understanding the mind. And I think the mind is the most fascinating thing in the world. How people think. You might think this way, but your neighbor might think differently. Everybody thinks differently. Everybody. And the mind is the most fascinating thing to me. I'm like, how does a person get up and slaughter their whole family? What is that guy, John List, that serial killer? Well, not serial killer. Well, yeah, I guess he was serial killer because he killed more than 3 people. And he killed his whole family and had him living in the house, dead, like nothing. And he disappeared for years and they finally found him. I look him up too. I'm like, what the heck? How could you do that? Like you said, BTK. Now, that was another one that was insane. But that don't mean I want to kill people or be a serial killer. But I'm definitely ain't taking pictures with him smiling like that. That's a little insane. All right, let's get back to it.
I had very little information. What I knew was that Shad Thyrion had been found in a bucket in the basement, and also just the information that I had from talking to his mother about who was he last seen with and his last known whereabouts, according to her.
In terms of the specifics of what happened to Shad and where the rest of his body was, is that information that you knew prior to beginning the interview with Ms. Schabusiness?
No.
The information about Shad and what happened to him and where his body was, where did that information come from?
Ms. Schabusiness.
And to begin your interview, how did you begin asking her about the specific events?
I basically stated to her that with the information that I had, and the information that I had at that point in time was that Shad's head had been found in a bucket in the basement, and that she at one point had been with Shad, so I just asked her if she could tell me what happened.
And was she able to describe to you what happened?
Yes.
What did she say with respect to how Shad was killed?
How Shad was killed?
Correct.
She said that Shad had produced a chain, like a dog collar.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana.
On his neck. Initially, it sounded like it might have been some sort of foreplay, but it got to the point that she started to strangle Mr. Thyrion and just continued to do so, according to her, for several minutes until he passed away.
Did she, as it relates to the strangulation, did she make any statements about her observations of Shad as she was choking him with that chain?
Yes, she stated that his head turned purple. He started to, I believe, blood coming out of his mouth. His tongue was protruded, I believe.
Did you ask her whether she chose to stop at that juncture?
I did.
And what was her response?
She stated that she wanted to continue to see what happened.
And did you ask her whether or not Shad had struggled at all when she was choking him?
She said that he did.
And what was her response to that?
My understanding is that Shad had been laying on the bed, prone, face down, and she was on top of him. And so she was able to choke and control his body, so to speak, that even though he was struggling, she was able to still maintain control.
Did you ask her about how she felt about what she had done?
Yes.
And what were her responses?
Objection relevance, yes, to elements, Your Honor.
I think they're certainly relevant as to her intent.
Overruled.
Her response was that she liked it.
Had she also at some point expressed some remorse or that she didn't necessarily want this to happen?
Initially, that was some of her comments, was that, it hadn't intended, but once she started to strangle Shad, that she found that she did enjoy it, and so she kept on strangling him.
Had she expressed anything to you about her use of drugs at the time of the offense or immediately prior to the time of the offense?
She said that approximately 2 days prior to the offense that she and Shad had been smoking methamphetamine.
2 days prior to the offense or 2 days prior to the interview?
I'm sorry, 2 days prior to the interview.
Did she mention anything to you specifically about drugs or paraphernalia that might be found in the residence?
Yes, she stated that there should be a pipe and some methamphetamine in the basement on a dresser or an entertainment center of some sort.
Did she express any knowledge about the location of the chain or chains that were used to strangle Shad?
Yes, she stated that there was 2 chains. One would be the same location area as where the methamphetamine was used, and another would be on another table in the basement.
And now, I think I asked this earlier, but you're in communication with the investigators who are on scene during the course of this interview, is that correct?
Correct.
And the information that Ms. Schabusiness is providing you about where things are located and what they might see in the basement, is that being confirmed by investigators on scene?
It is.
And the information that she's providing you, is that accurate with what they're observing?
Yes.
After the strangulation itself, what did Ms. Schabusiness tell you that she did with Shad?
Well, initially, we were aware of Shad's head being in a bucket, but we were not aware of where the rest of his body had been located. So there were several questions pertaining to where his body was located. And Ms. Schabusiness' response to that, it was still in the basement. Then she later went on to explain that she, in fact, had dismembered Shad's body and placed the various body parts into several bags or a tote down in the basement.
Was she able to describe in detail the things that she did to dismember Shad?
Yes.
And again, are you matching that back up with information from investigators at the scene?
Correct.
Is she able to actually describe the types of bags or types of containers where she's placing body parts?
Yes.
And again, is that consistent with what investigators are later finding on the scene?
Yes.
Did she talk to you about how she dismembered or what she used to dismember Shad's body?
Yes, she stated that she used knives that she obtained from the kitchen of the residence.
Was she able to describe to you where those knives would be located in the basement?
Yes, she described that the knives would be in the same package or the bags that the body parts were also located.
And again, is that consistent with what investigators were finding on scene?
Yes.
In addition to the dismemberment, did Ms. Schabusiness discuss with you anything else that she did with Shad's body after she had killed him?
Yes, she did.
And what was that?
She described how she had sexual contact with the body in terms of playing with his penis. Also, she described that she had a dildo that she placed into Shad's mouth and to his anus, and that she also had cuddled the body.
Did she discuss performing oral sex on Shad?
That's correct.
And now, if I'm correct, this is the detective that did the interrogation. Everybody make sure you get your vote in, this is the detective that did the interrogation. And Sunday I'm going to show the whole interrogation. I'm not going to show it today because that's too long. It's about like an hour and 25 or 40 minutes or something like that. But it'll be less for us because we do it on a faster speed. Well, I don't know. It depends. I don't know if I'm going to do that on a faster speed because it was kind of hard to hear the audio. It was kind of bad, so maybe if I do it on fast speed, it might be confusing. I think it's going to be regular speed, but I'll show that on Sunday. All right, let's get back to it. And if this is too graphic for anyone and they need to leave, I completely understand. If it's too much for you to listen to, if you need to leave, I understand. No problem. I respect that totally. Let's get back to it.
Did she indicate about how long she had cuddled or played with Shad's body?
She indicated that, it was, I don't exactly recall how long of a period of time, but there was a period of time, I believe shortly before or after the start of dismemberment.
Did she talk to you at all about trying to clean up the scene or what she was doing with the blood during the course of the dismemberment?
Yes, I've been made aware that there was not a significant portion of blood found in the basement that would have been consistent with dismemberment. So I asked her about that, and her response was that she mainly used like the bucket and or the blue tote to capture a lot of the blood, and eventually.
See, this is where I got clarity, because remember we kept saying, how come the way she butchered up and saw his body, cut up his body, how come the whole place wasn't full of blood? Wow. She had the buckets. She's insane. All right, let's get back to it.
To dispose of some of that into the shower in the basement. She also did talk about the dismemberment and the removal of body parts, and in fact that there should still be a portion of Shad's lower limbs, like legs, in the van that she had been operating. So she did describe how she did remove at least a couple of his body parts during the course of dismemberment. And when I say move, I mean out of the residence itself.
And did she specifically give you a reason for why she ultimately left the residence on that day?
She told me that she had heard lots of walking around upstairs, and she also heard that she had heard some shots being fired in the area. In this call, there's some concern, and she just decided that she had needed to leave at that point.
Did she discuss with you what her intention was with respect to Shad's head?
One of the first things that she did say was that she did like the head, and that
Would you like to earn 6 figures a year writing for brands that you love?
to take the head as well as the genitalia that was in the bucket with her. That's why she specifically placed those items in the bucket. But she did mention that she had left the bucket by the stairs. And I don't know if she intentionally wanted to do that, but there was talk that it was her intent to take the head and the genitalia with her also.
At some point in time, do you
So what was she gonna do with the head and the genitalia? What was she gonna do with that? Wow, I'm really dying to know what is the jury gonna think in phase 2. Are they gonna think that she's insane or not? I know I vote insane, but they might see things differently. And what does defense have? What kind of people they have for witnesses for phase 2? Because they only have one witness for this part, and that witness couldn't show up. I wish the witness was there because I was curious to find out more about, because she was living at that guy's house. What else could have happened? But they say he's hospitalized. Let me know. Anybody's here, did you watch it earlier? Did they say he was in the hospital? I think they say he was hospitalized. Or now, whoever's watching replay, you can fill me in on that one. All right, let me see what Melanie said. She doesn't even know what she was going to do with it. Oh, okay. What else Melanie says? They have a couple of doctors who says she is insane. So you saying that they're going to have them for defense tomorrow? Is that what you're saying? The doctors are going to be there for tomorrow? And I hope they're able to get those school records from her childhood. See, I just want to learn about all of this. What started this? All right, not giving excuses, ladies and gentlemen. Not giving nobody a pass. But just understand the root of it. All right, let's go back.
discuss with Ms. Schabusiness a specific timeline for the events leading up to that evening?
Yes.
And what does she tell you about the timeline of her whereabouts leading up to this event?
2 days before the 21st, that Monday, is when she was at the apartment on Eastman Avenue with her friend AJ.
Melanie, I was thinking the same thing too. Witness, he was all of a sudden hospitalized for a few weeks. Sounds like rehab to me. And yes, starting tomorrow at the doctor's. He probably also wanted to check into rehab because he didn't want to go to trial. Wow. He didn't want to answer. Because look at that last guy that I showed yesterday. Really? And if he's in rehab, he can be excused for that. He probably picked this is the time I'm gonna check in. I can't with the drugs. Oh, then again, maybe he did check in because he probably was doing a lot of drugs because he knew he was getting ready to go to trial. See, ladies and gentlemen, just stay away from drugs. It don't have any benefits. It don't do them but destroy your life, destroy your future, destroy your family, your friends, everything. Resume.
They decided to go pick up Shad, which they did do. They were turned back to the apartment. At one point, they also did visit Shad's father, Michael Thyrion, and then also again returned to the apartment at Eastman Avenue where they stayed there for a while. At one point, AJ left, and then Shad and Taylor then returned to Shad's mother's residence on Stony-Brook Lane.
And the information that she's providing you with respect to the timeline, is that information that also was consistent with the other aspects of your investigation?
Correct.
Had she mentioned to you while you were discussing the timeline use of narcotics or controlled substances?
While they were in the apartment on Eastman Avenue, they did use her and Shad smoked methamphetamine, and she also indicated that Shad and AJ smoked marijuana.
Had she talked to you about what vehicle she was using to travel around to these locations?
Yes, the entire time she was using her roommate, Mr. Dahm's gold Chrysler minivan.
Did you ask her whether Mr. Thomas had given her permission to use the vehicle?
I don't know if I asked her specifically that question, no. But it was under impression that she was using it at the time of the interview. I was not sure. I later found out that Mr. Thomas claimed that she has used it in the past, but not necessarily was supposed to use it that night.
Did she tell you any information about whether Mr. Holmes was involved in this crime at all?
He was just at the apartment the entire time, sitting in a chair basically, and according to her. Of what they were doing, because either behind him or in the bedroom.
When you were speaking with Ms. Schabusiness, did you ask her about whether or not anyone else had come down into the basement at any point in time?
Yes.
And what did she say?
That's when she stated that she believed that Shad's mother had come down with a cat.
And did she discuss actually having any interaction with Shad's mother at that time?
She said that she did not, and I asked Taylor if she thought that the mother had seen her, and she stated that she did not believe. So asked her what she did, and Taylor just stated basically that she kept quiet and was off in the like the finished part of the basement.
So I want to draw your attention then to the second interview with Ms. Schabusiness. That occurred on February 28th, is that right?
Correct.
And that was also a recorded interview?
Yes, it was.
And you advised her of her Miranda rights prior to that interview?
I did.
And she waived those rights and agreed to answer questions?
Yes, she did.
Did you make observations of her demeanor generally on that day?
Classified as being the same, calm, was able to answer questions appropriately, no overt signs of any disruptions or mood swings.
And was she able to understand your questions and answer them appropriately?
Objection calls for speculation, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Leading? Argument for leading? Argument for leading, alternative argument, Your Honor.
Overruled. Go ahead, ask another question, Mr. Jose.
Thank you. And what was generally the purpose of conducting that second interview with Ms. Schabusiness?
Conduct some follow-up questions concerning that we had that came up during the course of the investigation concerning like her disposition of the body, what her intentions of what they're doing with the body, and her cleaning up after herself.
And what did she say with respect to the purpose of dismemberment and then the cleanup?
According to Ms. Business, the purpose was that she realized she needed to remove the body from the residence so that she wouldn't be caught, and Shad was more that she could carry just in terms of being a whole body. So the dismemberment and putting them into bags was to facilitate with her being able to remove the body from the residence.
And did you discuss with her the attempts to clean up the residence as well?
Yes, and Detective Scanlon had been an integral part of the search of the residence itself, so he asked her.
I had to pause. Who just creeped through the back door? Angel. I'm watching. This is on the big screen. This is insane, right, Angel? Maud on deck. Thank you for being here, girl. That's right. Hit the like. Isn't this insane, Angel? Oh my gosh. Well, they found her guilty. Just got to find out if she's insane or not. That's the next one. And blessings to you and your hubby too. Blessings, blessings. All right, let's get back to it.
her several questions about cleaning up, because he had observed some, markings or on the cement down area that had been underneath the bed, as well as there was a squeegee in the shower down in the basement, and some items such as Clorox, wipes. And so he asked her about that, and she stated that, yes, she did use the cleaning materials such as the Clorox wipes and the spray to clean up some of the areas in the basement, as well as using squeegee to clean up the shower area, and subsequently placed these wipes in the same bags that the body parts was found, which again is consistent with what Detective Scanlon had found.
And Detective, I think I asked you these questions already, but have you had an opportunity subsequent to the interviews to review the recorded interview from both the 23rd and the 28th of February?
Correct.
And you do believe that the recordings were accurate and consistent with your recollection of the interviews?
They are.
Your Honor, at this point, I intend to show significant portions of the first interview and a smaller portion of the second interview, but it's about an hour and 10 minutes in length for the first interview.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right, listen to the music while you wait. We got another clip. I was supposed to show this clip before this one, but I didn't. All right, let me get into this clip here. We're doing a recap of day 3, and she was found guilty. So now tomorrow they're going to start phase 2 to see, was she guilty, insane? Well, I don't know if I'm saying right, but basically see if she's insane. Was she a nut? Was she insane? Or no, she's not insane. She knew exactly what she was doing. All right, give me a second here while I share the other screen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to get into the next clip here. And this clip says, photos show Taylor Schabusiness with multiple cuts, red stains on hands after lover. Let's get it.
Prior to the interview of Ms. Schabusiness, did you have the occasion to view her physical appearance?
Yes, I did.
Did you note any potential cuts or injuries to her?
Yes, I noted a cut to her left thumb and some superficial cuts to her hands.
And is that something that you subsequently documented in some way?
Yes, when I took photos of her, I also made sure I documented the cuts on her hands. Yes.
And what do you believe those to be?
These would be photographs that I took of Ms. Schabusiness's hands.
And those appear to depict Ms. Schabusiness's hands as you observed them in the interview room on February 23rd?
Yes.
And when, on February 23rd, would this contact have occurred? When did you begin the interview?
I believe I took the photos at approximately 6 a.m., and I think the interview started about 6:30 a.m.
All right, so this was before the interview?
Yes.
All right. I'd move 103 through 107.
Any objection?
No.
103 through 107 will be removed.
Sorry, Judge, 106.
106.
And then I'd ask permission to publish as well.
The objection, Mr. Freilich?
No.
You publish 103 to 106.
Okay, and then it'll be in front of you, but also behind you, whatever's easiest here. So are we observing photograph 103 at this point?
Yes, you are.
Okay, and what does this depict?
This would be her left hand. There's a superficial cut in the palm below the thumb, and then you can see the cut on the thumb partially from a side view.
And then exhibit 104, is that what we're looking at now?
Yes, it would be. That would be her right hand and a superficial cut in the palm of her hand.
And then 105,
This would be the cut on her thumb, her left hand thumb.
and then 106.
106 is kind of a superficial cut on the index finger of the left hand.
And then at some point during the interview, was Mr. Business transported for medical care with respect to the thumb?
Yes, when she requested medical care, she was transported to the hospital. Before that, she declined.
Okay, and did you accompany her during that visit?
Yes, I did.
And I guess was there an attempt to have maybe the injury stitched up in some way?
Yes, we brought her up to get stitches or get medical treatment, whatever they felt was necessary.
And was that done ultimately?
She did receive medical treatment, but they did not give stitches due to the time.
What do you mean by that?
Apparently it is, if it's outside the 8 or 12 hour frame, the stitches can't be put in, it doesn't work.
Okay. And you had contact with Mr. Business about 6 a.m., you said?
Yes, so that's about when I started taking the photos.
When you, I guess, first encountered Mr. Business and were taking those photographs, what kind of clothing was she wearing?
At that point, she had like a black spaghetti strap top, I believe, on, and some black leggings, more tighter spandex, I guess.
And were her clothing items subsequently collected by law enforcement?
Yes, they did an initial collection of the outside clothing, and then I also had those items of clothing collected from her.
Okay. And I guess was a female officer involved in collecting the inner clothing items?
Yeah, when the clothing is collected, she's actually removed from the interview room to a room where it's not recorded, and a member of the same sex would be with them when the items are collected.
And was that done in this case?
Yes.
And then the clothing items that were, I guess, collected from Mr. Business, were those subsequently entered into evidence?
Yes, they would have been entered into evidence.
And that include the sweatpants or leggings or pants material that you talked about?
Yes.
Just look at her. No emotions. She just sits there. She just no emotions. Okay, let's get back to it.
After those photographs of Mr. Business, did you participate in the interview of Mr. Business?
Yes, I did.
And which other officer was with you?
Detective Groff.
During the course of the interview, did both of you sort of interject at some points and ask questions?
Yes.
Have you had the chance to review that February 23rd interview of Mr. Business?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little time here, so we're going to move on to the next video. And this one will be the last one for tonight. Okay, this one here is Tell Us Your Business shows no emotion as verdict is delivered in gruesome. Can't see the rest there. But okay, we're going to watch this one. Now, this one is basically the verdict of what happened. And this will be the last video I'll show. And then tomorrow, like I said, they're going to get into phase 2 to see if she's insane or not. I say insane. So far, well, yeah, what I'm trying to say, next one's going to go into phase 2 to see if she's insane or not. But so far, I feel she's insane, but I might change my mind. We'll see what happens. We'll see what defense brings out. And the people in the bushes, shout out to you and blessings to you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for hitting the like. Let's get it.
And my understanding is that the jury has reached a verdict. Is that correct? Yes. Right. If you would hand that to the bailiff then, please. Okay. First verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise Schabusiness, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information, dated this date, July 26, 2023, signed by the foreperson. Second verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise Schabusiness, guilty of mutilating a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information, dated this date, July 26, 2023, signed by the foreperson. The next verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise Schabusiness, guilty of third-degree sexual assault as charged in count 3 of the information, dated this date, 26th day of July, 2023, signed by the foreperson. The verdicts appear to be in order. Do either of the parties request that I poll the jury? Mr. Saunders?
No.
Mr. Freilich?
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do what's called polling the jury. It's a very simple process. All I'm going to do is go down the line and ask each of you if this is your verdict. Your answer is either yes or no. I'm going to start in the back corner, ma'am. These your verdicts? Yes. Ma'am, are 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 these your verdicts? Yes. Sir, are these your verdicts? Yes. Ma'am, are these your verdicts? Yes. In the front to the right, ma'am, are these your verdicts? Yes. Sir, are these your verdicts? Yes. Sir, are these your verdicts? Yes. Sir, are these your verdicts? Yes. Ma'am, are these your verdicts? Yes. Okay, the jury has now been polled. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, for today, your tasks are concluded. We're going to start tomorrow morning on the second phase, at which point in the beginning I will give you some further instructions, and then we will get underway on that phase. The attorneys and I have a few things that we're going to need to take up before that phase starts, so I'm going to ask that you be in the jury room by 9:15. I want to start right at 9:15, and we will hopefully get our matters resolved ahead of that time. But for today, your service is concluded. I am going to, again, read you that instruction that I've done every day since you've started. Please do not communicate with anyone about this trial or your experience as a juror while you are serving on this jury. Do not use a computer, cell phone, or other electronic device with communication capabilities to share any information about this case. For example, do not communicate by blog, email, text message, Twitter, or in any other way on or off the computer. Do not permit anyone to communicate with you, and if anyone does so despite your telling them not to, you should report that to me. I appreciate that it is tempting when you go home in the evening to discuss this case with another member of your household, but you may not do so. This case must be decided by you, the jurors, based upon the evidence presented in the courtroom. People not serving on this jury have not heard the evidence, and it is improper for them to influence your deliberations and decision in this case. After this trial is completed, you are free to communicate with anyone in any manner. We are done for today. Have a good evening. We will see you tomorrow morning at 8:15 or 9:15 sharp. All rise for the jury. Seated. Is the matter regarding Dr. O'Donnell still a contested issue? I'm seeing nods from the state.
As of last night, yes.
So here's how we're going to get this. I've indicated to the jury that I want them to report at 9:15. Mr. Freilich, it's entirely up to you if you want to bring Dr. O'Donnell here tomorrow morning at 8:15 for me to hear from. But I'm going to indicate to you the parameters of where that situation is. I've reviewed your memorandum, which is all I.
You notice the judge never has the mic to him. Why is it always pushed over there to the side? We want to hear you. Sometimes I cannot hear what he says, and when he talks a little bit of a slight mumble, but I can't hear what he says clearly. Oh well. Can't tell the judge what to do, right? Let's resume.
I can really work with, because this is what you've essentially said to me. This is what he's going to testify about. The first opinion is that Ms. Schabusiness was acutely intoxicated and impaired by acute methamphetamine use at the time of the alleged asphyxiation. The problem I'm having with that assertion is I'm not sure it's relevant given the status of the intoxication defense. So I'm not sure that having it here is going to assist you in that, but and I need you to understand where I am regarding that topic before you decide that's what you want to bring it here for. The next point is that the long-term and excessive use of methamphetamine has chronic brain damage consequences. The problem with that situation is I don't know that he is competent to diagnose chronic brain damage. So while he could assert that long-term excessive use of methamphetamine has chronic brain damage consequences, I don't think he's going to be qualified to testify that as a professional, I can say to a reasonable degree of certainty used in my profession that Ms. Schabusiness has chronic brain damage. Frankly, I think the only opinion that's been asserted regarding her mental health condition as far as a diagnosis is bipolar, and that was done at Nicolay, and there's some dispute about whether that was an accurate diagnosis, but I don't know that one would qualify bipolar as being a chronic brain damage. So I'm concerned that if he's going to come in and start opining about that the connection won't be made. And then, of course, even if he is able to say that she does have chronic brain damage, the next step he has to take is that somehow that impacted responsibility, and I think there's a concern there as well. But I'm putting you on notice of that view that I'm starting to develop regarding the submissions you made to me. The second bullet point is that long-term adolescent use of marijuana arrests brain development. Again,
Melanie says, I so disagree with the judge on this. A doctor of pharmacology, I can't pronounce it, but I think you know what I'm talking about, would most certainly be able to testify to the damage a drug can do to a person's brain. I was thinking the same thing too, Melanie, when I was watching it. I said, don't you know when they say when you go and get your medication, you can ask the pharmacist questions and they will tell you the side effects and blah, blah, blah. That kind of threw me off. Something about this judge. And ladies and gentlemen that's here or who's watching replay, I'm not trying to give this woman any kind of pass. Not at all. But fair is fair. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. What exactly could cause this so we can learn from this and we can prevent certain things from happening? Just like the therapist when I had did that clip when the therapist said that she fell through the cracks. This woman is completely insane. She fell through the cracks. If she never fell through the cracks, this man would probably be alive right now. I don't know. It's just my thoughts. This is my thoughts on it. I don't understand why he can't. This judge is. I want to know some history of him. Was he ever a defense attorney or was he only just prosecution? I don't know. You just never know what's happened behind the scenes in the courthouse. We just see what's here. We don't know who's friends with who's sleeping with who don't like who. You know what I mean? Maybe he might have something gunning for this defense attorney. Don't like him, so that's why he being a hard ass on him. We don't know. And this is what happens in life, in the workplace, in families, in friendship. This stuff happens. See, I go deep. I don't look at just the surface. I go behind the scenes and go deep. And sometimes that ruffles people's feathers with me. I ruffle their feathers. They get annoyed with me. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You know, I'm not trying to come out to be disrespectful, but I ask questions. I want to know. And especially when you're dealing in the courthouse, there's a lot of things. You know, in the courthouse, a lot of people is friends with friends. I can tell you stories that I know about in the courthouse behind the scenes. Okay, so everything you might see, you think everybody's going to be professional and they're going to do this, they're going by the rules. No. You don't know what these judges are doing behind the chambers. You don't know who's sleeping in the hospital. So many doctors and nurses are screwing each other. Yeah, I said it. Even in the church house. You got the pastor bumping everybody up in the church house. So you don't know what's happening behind the scene. The pastor stand up there and act like he's preaching to the Lord. Da, 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 and he's the biggest out there, biggest dusty in the world. So I'm just saying. You just never know what's happening behind the scenes. In school. Parent-teacher conference. You think these teachers don't be talking about these people's kids and their parents? You going in there looking like a hot mess. And they sitting in the cafeteria at lunchtime. At lunchtime, talking about each other's kids. Oh, God, there go that stupid-ass kid. My kid that I have in class coming to mama, that ghetto mama. Yeah, people talk. And they'll go to the principal. Then they'll treat you a certain way. So I'm just saying there's a lot of things that happens behind the scenes we don't know about. You think it doesn't happen over here with the president and all of them? President might not like a certain governor. He might not like the governor of, I don't know, what kind of state I said, of Texas. I'm just making up something. He might have a personal problem with him. So he gonna give him a hard time. Whatever he wants to do. He won't be supportive of what he wants to do for his state. So you never know what happens behind the scenes. That's why I say it's fascinating when I learn about the people's minds and how they think and how they operate. You might have been due for a promotion. You didn't get it because the person over there in human resource might have a problem with you, don't like you in human resource, and they friends with the person. They hanging out, going to happy hour, going to the barbecue, they invite them over to their wedding and stuff like. You don't know who's friends with who, and so when the time comes for your promotion, they're like, nah, I don't like Jane. We friends, girl. I got you. Jane ain't gonna get it. They'll come with some BS with you. Well, we was gonna give you the promotion, but you're just not qualified. Maybe later on, and you be thinking, wow, what happened? You are qualified. You're fully qualified. This is why I get into narcissism. You have a lot of narcissists, sociopaths out here. And I can go into human resource. Human resource is supposed to look out for the employees, but they actually don't. No, they don't. All right, I think I'm going into a bit of a rant right now. But let's get back to this clip, and we're going to end it. All right, let's get back to it. And anybody here? Tell me if you agree with me or you disagree with me. I stand to be correct. Other people's watching replay. You agree with me or you disagree with me. I stand to be correct. Enlighten me. I like to learn. I listen. I'm open-minded. But just be respectful. That's it. If you're not respectful, I don't listen to you. Reason.
And I'm not familiar with the diagnosis that any qualified psychologist or other professional qualified to make such a diagnosis has actually made in this case. I don't know that one equates brain development with bipolar. I've never heard that, but I'm not an expert. So the notion that you can opine that someone who uses marijuana as an adolescent might have brain damage, I'm not sure is going to be useful to this jury because we don't know if your client has that. And the next step is, how does...
Okay, I guess I'm getting a little angry, and I'm just going to let it out. Yes, too much marijuana will give you brain damage. Hello? Resume. Too much alcohol will give you brain damage. Resume.
Does that affect responsibility? And I'm not sure he's qualified to give that opinion either. The next bullet point is Ms. Schabusiness was not treated with psychotropic drugs to control or mitigate her psychiatric illnesses. He's certainly, and again I want to say, I'm satisfied that he's qualified as a pharmacologist. I'm not questioning his qualifications as that. Certainly I reviewed his CV and listened to his testimony at the prior hearing, and he's a qualified pharmacologist for sure. But as far as psychiatric illnesses, again, the only thing that I've heard about from the testimony in the records is a bipolar diagnosis at Nicolay, which these other psychologists have repeated. So that the only thing that one could conclude from this assertion is that she was not treated with psychotropic drugs to control or mitigate her bipolar disorder. And then the question is, how does that impact responsibility? Many people have bipolar, so the next question you have is does someone who has bipolar, will the consequences be that you're unable to appreciate the responsibility in a criminal case? That's another concern I have with whether he's going to be qualified to even testify about that. The next point is psychotropic drugs do have efficacy in a large percentage of patients who take them. Well, I'm satisfied he'd be competent to testify about that.
Okay, that was the last clip. And Melanie said something here. When you said that talk at the school makes my blood boil. Yes, it does happen. I'm gonna give you all something that happened with school. My boys was, little. This was the time when it was in elementary school. And I had a teacher said to me, "Oh, he shouldn't go to that class because that teacher it was a male teacher. He's gay." Whoa. Is she supposed to be telling me that as a parent? Uh-huh. And I thought that was a little bit out of order. And I should have reported her. But, I didn't. And my son did go to that class. Did a phenomenal. And no, he wasn't gay. He was just keeping to himself. He was actually dating another teacher there. And they got married. Really? Why was she sitting there spreading those rumors? You're not even supposed to be talking to parents like that. You could lose your job. And I remember she was sitting there, she was talking about other teachers, this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there listening like, are you supposed to be doing this with me? I don't think so. I don't think so. So basically the bottom line is, I'm trying to tell you all, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes. And be careful in the workplace when you sit here discussing your personal business. Don't even go in the workplace and say, "Hey, I'm so happy. I just got myself a new house." Don't do it. "Hey, I'm so happy. I'm getting married." Don't do it. "Hey, I'm so happy. I got me a new car." Just don't do it. Because they can use it against you. Now, if you have a narcissistic boss, they can be like, "Oh, you got a house, so that means you're paying mortgage. You need this job. You can't be getting fired. How you going to pay your mortgage? You got a car note. You need this job. How you gonna pay your car note? What you gonna do?" So now this is when the BS is gonna happen at the job. They'll start giving you extra work, stuff that you're not even supposed to do, is not even your job title. But you ain't got no choice because now you can't leave the job because you got this big old car note or mortgage or whatever you have to pay, or this wedding that's coming up. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Just be careful what you say in the workplace. I always figure people in the workplace, they are your co-workers. You go to these holiday parties, just go in, show yourself, and leave. Do not stay. That's just my thoughts on it. I mean, people can do whatever they want to do or whatever. You want to call these people your best friend, you rolling with them and stuff, they're going to cut your throat. Especially seeing you doing better at the job and you might get that promotion or make more money. Oh, they're going to try to sabotage you behind your back. Be that person you always eat lunch with, talking to about your personal problem. "Oh, I'm having problems with my husband," and blah, 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 blah. And they listening and they taking it down. They'll go out there and chat about it with other people at the job. It's best. Just don't. But you come to work, you be cordial, you good morning, good afternoon, you do your job, you have a little smile. But just keep that slight little distance. Keep that slight distance. People ask you, "How was your weekend? What did you do?" Just keep it as, "Oh, I had myself a good weekend. It was okay." Don't get in detail. They can use it against you. Don't give detail. It's none of their business what you was doing over the weekend. And you don't have to be rude about it. Just know how to talk to people. You don't have to be rude. You just don't want to go there. And who the heck just came in here? I haven't seen you in a while. What made you just pop up in here? Sugar Daddy Williams. And good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. So just be careful what you say to people. They co-workers. And another thing that bothers me too. I know I'm going on a rant right now and I'm going to talk. Another thing that bothers me. Why do people say my work husband? What is a work husband? My work wife. I feel a little uncomfortable with that. Why do people say that? You think I'll be okay with my husband coming here telling me he got a work wife? Excuse me? Well, then I think we need to get a divorce and you go and be with her. You only got one wife. And you only got one husband. I'm just saying. Alright, so enough of that rant. But she was found guilty on all charges. So stay tuned because we're going to go into phase 2 to see if she's insane or not. And I personally feel that she's completely out of her mind. She's insane. What she did to this man, his body, yeah, you have to be insane. But we don't know. We don't know what the jury's saying. Or maybe I might go through phase 2 and watch it and change. You'd be like, "Donna, you said all of this. it might change because I'm open-minded. I'm just, I'm listening as it goes along. All right, let me just read the votes off before I go here. All right, so far we have 9 votes. Do you feel if she was found not guilty, she would do it again? 9 votes. 78% says, of course, Donna. Woo! 22% says, no way. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And what else do you have to say here? Always watching and listening. Oh, so you be hanging out in the bushes. Okay, all right, okay. All right, but good to see you, and blessings to you, brother. Blessings to you. Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging, and stay tuned for some more. And tomorrow I will be having commentary, and it's a dating advice commentary. We're going to get into romance scammers. Okay. It's a lot of lonely people out here looking for love online. You have to be extremely careful, because not everybody who comes into your life has good intentions. That's why I always stress is date smart, not thirsty. And these people are dating thirsty. Yes, they are. And when you date thirsty, these lowlifes, these sleazeballs, these dustettes and these dusties, they can smell it, and they prey on people like you. And they will use and abuse you. Yep, it is what it is. Date smart, not thirsty. Have a blessed night. Stay tuned for some more. Donna just being real.